All right. For those of you, we'll see us in the beginning, man. It's gonna take me a minute to get set up here. A lot of moving parts, doing some new things here that I haven't done before, as far as screen sharing, all that good stuff. Uh, so just give me a minute. See if I can even see if I'm live or not. I'm really not sure right now. Let's see. Let's go to flip flop cam. All right, yeah, it looks like before I end up on a feedback loop, let me kill that. All right, so I ran into this the other night. This ended up on my recommended, and hey, how you doing? How you doing? Yeah, it's been a while. So this ended up on my recommended, and because of that, I figured I would share this with everybody. I feel that it's a somewhat relevant, and I think as we go through this, I think you start to understand why I think that way, and I'll try to explain some of it. But again, like I said, this is the first time doing a lot of this stuff. I know it's choppy. Did a few little experiments here. I know it's a little choppy, and doing a little overhead cam, man. Fucking, it's like Daniel James here. So I'm gonna play this, and I know most people probably haven't seen this. Most people probably don't care, but I'll go through it and I'll explain a little bit of why I thought this was kind of a trip when I saw it. Of course, this is from April 25th, 2021, and I think this event actually happened January 2nd of I'm guessing 2021. Let's check this out.
Las Vegas hotels start filling up again. Some guests are sounding the alarm, claiming they were ripped off some while they slept.
And 13 chief investigators.
Like I said, my apologies for this being choppy. There's not a lot I can do about that. It's just that's the way it's going to be. There's a bit of a delay on this, so talking over it's going to be kind of exciting.
Investigator Darcy Spears now exposes a string of brazen hotel room heists that police right now are trying to solve.
Amid the lights and luxury of the Las Vegas Strip rises the Encore Tower Suites, a favorite indulgence for California couple Ambria and Justin Lujahan.
We decided to take off on New Year's Day just for a little mini vacation for the weekend. And we are very used to staying at the Wynn. It's kind of been our favorite place.
It was their first vacation since the pandemic broke out.
And an opportunity to do something after being sheltered for such a long time during the quarantine of 2020. So,
due to restaurant restrictions in early January, they ordered room service. When they were done,
took the tray outside.
Ambria.
Now, just a heads up, I know probably get a copyright strike on this. This may not even stay up. I don't know. I don't know how all that copyright stuff works when you're using the actual news. But just letting you know, I may have to break this up a little bit. I think you're allowed to show like 15 seconds or something like that, and then you have to critique it or some bullshit. I don't know the exact rules. But yeah, I'm going to try and talk over this as much as I fucking can, which is going to make this video a little longer than it needs to be. But yeah, these two people, stay at the Encore. Doesn't really matter. Encore doesn't really matter, but this is a Vegas hotel, and that's kind of where I'm going with this.
Did the same thing she does every night at home before going to bed.
Take my rings, my watch, any jewelry, and set it all in one spot.
When she awoke the next morning, she walked a few yards to the kitchen area where she left everything.
And I went to go put on my wedding ring, and it's not there.
And that's when I noticed my stuff was gone too. Then I realized, wait a minute, Where's my watch?
That was gone too, as was all their cash from the previous night, a $37,000 loss, according to the police report.
Look at that. That's something we see all the time. Event number. It's a little bit like the official report there. But yeah, I don't know. Stacking all your jewelry in one spot. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it makes it easier for people to steal the shit. But whatever. Let's move on. There ain't nothing here.
Including their Rolex watches and Ambria's ring, right out from under their sleeping noses.
Maybe I'm naive to think that in my own room when I'm going to sleep, I'm safe, but I mean that's the expectation, you know.
Yeah, you are fucking naive to think that. That's exactly what that is. So here's where things start getting interesting, right? Start talking about lock interrogation, right? That word we've heard a lot about. And yeah, so let's talk about lock interrogation here. Let's listen to them talk about it.
In the police report, a Wynn corporate investigator tells Metro the room lock log showed the suite door was opened from the inside at approximately 1:49 a.m., which could mean the door was not shut all the way. Justin says,
Did you hear that? Doors open from the inside, according to lock interrogation logs. Now, this is one of those videos for all you conspiracy addicts out there who want to talk about conspiracy stuff, man. Interesting. We have door locks saying the door was open from the inside, and yeah, seen that before. I've seen some of that before. So yeah, and you're right. That is creepy. You know, when someone's in your room while you're sleeping, that's fucking creepy as fuck. And it's interesting when I was looking at this, you know, this isn't the first incident of this happening. This does actually, and in fact, it happened twice this night. They'll explain that later. But this does actually, this is the thing. This actually does happen, even in Vegas.
that's not the case.
And I'd locked the French doors with a deadbolt. There wasn't one of those flip over sides because of the style and design of the door.
But there's no record of someone coming into the room from the outside.
You know, in-room burglaries are not necessarily uncommon anywhere in the world, no less than the Las Vegas Strip. What I do find interesting is the manner in which they're getting into the rooms and the fact that people are actually still in their rooms.
Security expert Adam Coffrin spent 19 years as a police officer in Orange County, California, with the tourist-oriented policing unit.
And these types of crimes, believe it or not, we would see quite a bit as what we commonly call as door pushers, or folks just walking down hotel hallways, pushing doors to see did they latch correctly or they locked right.
That would be after a would-be thief was able to bypass layers of hotel.
Door pushers. So, you know, same thing as leaving your car unlocked at night, I guess. You know, people just run around trying to steal shit. That's, I guess, kind of where they're going with this at this point. Like, it's interesting. It's very interesting.
Hotel security at the Encore Tower Suites.
It's got a private access. You've got to have a key to get into that. And then just to get to the elevators, you've got to have another access key to get to the elevators and then to go up. So we thought that was a very, very secure location.
Their police report cites a second event with a similar.
Now that's interesting. Now I'm not gonna go into this, you know, individual case. That's not the purpose of this, really. I'm just talking about how it's relatable to, you know, some of the stuff we've been looking at as far as the October 1st shooting, and we're gonna get a little heavier into this, but the yeah, you know, it is kind of interesting that they have security at the ground level to not allow access to everybody up in those elevators. I guess at the Wynn, and these people are admitting to it, so I guess that is the thing now. Let's see. Let me read the comments real quick. Yeah, most people don't use that the chain or the bar or whatever they have in those rooms. He said there wasn't a lock. I believe what he said is there wasn't a lock like that on the, was it the French doors or something? I don't remember. He said something about that.
Similar MO that happened 10 minutes after their room was hit.
When we do come across these type of crimes, then we start keeping track of them to see if they're connected.
Which Metro says is likely based on the close timing of the two January 2nd crimes.
I would say that the majority of these type of crimes are typically committed by suspects and not necessarily not necessarily hotel staff.
One exception.
Now that's some kissing ass, dude. This guy's protecting the win, saying it's typically not done by hotel staff. Yeah, public calm, I guess. That's. I would think it'd be the opposite, honestly, especially if these people were able to breach the elevators, which so they said was secure. But anyways, again, it's not about this case.
Jeff Burke. He and his wife stayed at the Encore in November 2017 when Carlos Valle worked there as a guest room attendant. According to court records,
he took one of the hotel keys that were our spare keys that we left in the room behind us.
Now, that guy, the guy that just showed, I guess I don't think it paused on that, but the guy that just showed, man, he had a big old scar down that cheek, man. That looked like a villain from a superhero movie, man. Yeah, shady character. But I guess the event they're talking about, something about they stole a hotel room key from somebody from, I think this guy. Yeah, it's this guy's hotel room. And they stole it from this guy's room and then later came back and I guess robbed the guy.
And he took it to craft and plan and execute a crime after and days later.
Valle and his accomplice Jesus Cervantes were both convicted of felony grand larceny to the tune of over $100,000.
What does it say to the guests is don't take the false comfort that there's a security level that can't be permeated.
Police are still investigating the Loot Jahans case, and no one from the Wynn would go on camera, but they did send a statement. Vice President of Security Todd Fasulo wrote, "Creating a safe environment involves ensuring each..."
All right, now I got to explain this thing for everybody. For those of you in my little circle here that I've been talking to, I freaked out when I heard that name. I've heard that name before, Fasulo. I've heard that name. And, I was thinking it was something that we'd previously discussed as a group, dug up on this guy. And turns out, no. I work with a guy named Fasulo. So as I'm sending out these emails, I'm hearing this shit on my radio at work. Someone named the last name Fasulo. So I was wrong in that, for those of you that got my freak out text messaging email stuff.
Suspected theft is reported to Metro. He added that they routinely check room and suite doors to ensure that if the guest closes the door, they shut properly. Coffrin says they're waiting.
So you guys hear that? Routinely check room and suite doors to ensure that the guests close them properly. Hot SOS. That's what we're talking about.
Around that.
Number one, you could have easily used a under the door tool. So there's essentially a tool that slides underneath the door that allows the door mechanism to be opened from the inside, which would also bypass.
Now this guy talking about is under the door tool, man. Basically, same thing as, I guess it's the same idea as kind of unlocking your car with an old coat hanger back in the days. But I'm gonna say this, man. I don't think, at least in this case, man, two guys sitting in a hallway with a big old Slim Jim, that's especially that size, man. I mean, that thing would have to be about 3.5 feet long or some crazy shit like that. Yeah, that's a little suspect, man. I think if you saw a couple guys duck down on a door trying to open it like that, you'd have some problems. At least in Vegas, man. I mean, maybe you're talking some, hotel out there in the middle of fucking nowhere, maybe that would be a thing. But in this case here, and again, I'm not here to talk about this case, but I'm here to say this guy's full of shit. As far as that goes, that's irrelevant. That's got nothing to do with this.
bypass the deadbolt.
He says thieves have also been known to electronically hack the door lock or take the simple route of renting a room.
You hear that? You hear that? Ken, you out there? Did you just hear that? That's your viability, bro. That's your viability. And we may not have seen eye to eye on a lot of things, but I'm going to say this, man. That just got played in the news. That makes that viable. They just admitted on this, news stream, just admitted that hackers have come in and hacked these fucking doors. It's your viability, bro. We can't prove something like that happened in Vegas, of course, or, during the October 1st shooting and all that sort of stuff. But nevertheless, you just heard it. You heard it in the mainstream media, admitting to something like that. So that is a possibility. You were saying that, you came up with that, give you credit for that.
Room themselves.
And they spent hours on the floors over the course of the evening and into the early morning hours, committing crime.
You might think with all the cameras in casinos, these crimes should be easy to solve.
Cameras in hospitality, it's a fine balance between weighing the privacy of the guests, weighing the security of the hotel, but also weighing the liability and risk to a hotel. And
he says that's why most cameras are on the gaming floor, in lobbies, and in elevators.
So of course we've heard this before, man. They don't have cameras up in the room areas. They don't have cameras in the hallways and all that good stuff. And I think they're full of shit. I remember reading I don't know if I read the article or I heard it. It may even have been someone else's channel, so I can putting that shit out there. But there was an interview with somebody saying something about one of the main reasons they don't put cameras up in those hallways is for stuff like getting dragged into court for divorce, shit like that, Catch a fucking prostitute up in that fucking room. They don't want to have anything to do with that. They don't want to end up having to go to court over stuff like that. And hell, if they're one of the shadier casinos out there or they got something going on, they could be the ones, giving this prostitute access to that room, depending on how high of a roller you are, I guess.
Areas, but likely not in hallways on the guest room floors. The Wynn would not disclose the location of its cameras or what areas they cover. 13 Investigates has been tracking hotel room heists for years. After the Burks case in 2017 at Encore, a thief used a key card to break into a couple's hotel room at the Venetian in 2019 and stole $4,000 worth of personal items. And just last month, this police report was filed by locals after a staycation at the Cosmopolitan. It details another alleged in-room theft while the guests were sleeping. Thieves reportedly stole their bag, wallets, credit and debit cards, iWatch, and room key.
Alleged in-room theft. I was going to say death here, but alleged in-room theft, man. That's, okay, alleged. So they basically just called that person a fucking liar. So I guess that incident is suspect, I guess. I don't know. Like how we paused on the Jeffrey Epstein fucking bullshit. So YouTube, suck it, man. This is a newscast. Kiss my ass. This is actually on YouTube, so they're talking about Jeffrey Epstein.
According to the police report, there's no video surveillance available. The Cosmopolitan said in order to protect guest privacy, they do not comment on details surrounding an individual's stay. Nevada's innkeeper statute says hotels are not liable for theft of any property a guest leaves in a room where they have access to a safe.
And again, we didn't put our stuff in the safe. We didn't. We felt that in a locked room
While
in
you're
the evening
there.
while we're there was pretty darn secure, and a very, very secure, in our opinion, hotel room in Las Vegas.
Jeff Burke sued the Wynn. His case ended up in arbitration where he got $25,000 for emotional distress. On the criminal side, Metro says these investigations take time and often hinge on thieves pawning property they can trace back to the victim.
Take pictures of them, take photos of your expensive, valuable items, take note of any serial numbers.
Another way you can protect yourself while traveling.
Travel with, the little, the child or the toddler alarms that you can hang on the door.
Justin's taking it.
Okay, so I just shit all over this guy. But what he just said is interesting, right? Take a baby alarm with you. So again, I'm just throwing out the relevance here to the, this is, I remember in the early days of all this bullshit, looking up hotel room security, right? 'Cause I was interested in what Paddock was, what the ideology was behind some of the stuff he's doing. Of course, we all looked up stupid shit. And so that's interesting to me, man. I mean, they just, basically reiterated that. I guess that's a common ideology amongst, I don't know what he is, law enforcement, I guess, to bring a baby monitor with you to monitor your hotel room against thievery and so forth and so on. So, that's kind of a lot of this stuff. When I listened to it, I was like, holy shit, man. It's fucking harkening back to the Vegas thing.
It one step further.
I'll probably have to, going forward, to be comfortable staying at places, set up my own cameras internally in my own room so I know what happens when I'm either not there or even when I'm sleeping.
All the victims we spoke to say they hope that by sharing their stories, they convince others to take safety into their own hands. They all tell us they have no plans to come back to Vegas anytime soon because they feel the hotels are more concerned about protecting their reputation than the safety of their guests. Darcy Spears, 13. And
yeah. All right. So that's that. So what did we learn here today, man? Tim was right. Just kidding. But now he had a point, He had a point. That hacking these rooms is actually a thing. These people got into a room and the door log states that the door was open from the inside, not from the outside. That's it's interesting, And I don't know how these guys got into that door, but it tells you that there's these people have a way of doing something shady. It makes it look like the door's open from the inside. Now, you put a good point there in the comments, which is exactly what I was thinking. If these guys' story, their narrative, let's say, on this event is legit, they're saying that the door was left open, right? A couple problems with that. For one, that's the reason for the hot SOS. Now, do they not have that at the Wynn Encore? Somebody I reached out to was telling me that the Wynn, as far as Vegas goes, is kind of the gold standard of security as far as things like this go. And so I would think they would have something such as the hot sauce alarm system, which they even explained it in this article. Right. So it's not like it's a big fucking secret. This is something that, they talked about, they know about. So the hot sauce alarm was a failure. Didn't work. They didn't come check on these people's door. Thinking about the incident that happened here, this chick and this dude, through their, came in the door, pushed a card out, she took off her jewelry and all that sort of stuff, and then went to sleep. So from the time they put that card out there to the time that they're broken into, how long do you think that was? And how is their hot SOS system set up? I think they even mentioned in here that it was after a certain amount of time. I forget what they said, but and I don't want to really replay it, but so the hot SOS, that's the purpose behind it, I guess. I guess that's where we're going with this, is we know kind of the ideology behind that hot SOS. And I guess this is, I'm guessing this isn't the first time this happened. It's probably not even close to the first fucking time this happened. It's probably been happening since Vegas was created. But so how does OS fail? Then we have, they mentioned themselves the lock interrogation report. Lock interrogation report states the door was open from the inside. So how did these guys get in, right? Now, if that door is left ajar, as they're saying, would that necessarily indicate that the door is open from the inside when they do that? Or would the door just be left open? Kind of a failure in the hot sauce alarm system. If hey JB, what's up, man? Kind of a failure in the hot sauce alarm system if the fucking door is saying it's closed and it's really not, because that's what they're implying here, that the door was open because it was possibly left ajar. Probably take liability off the casino itself, but and I don't know, it's funny that this happened in January 2nd, and they're just now getting around to talking about this. I guess the news cycle's been too wacky to talk about shit like this, and they must have been bored and just had this fucking laying around in the vault somewhere. And just decided to randomly share this with the world. But yeah, so if that door was left ajar, would that actually say the door's open from the inside? I personally don't think so. Because like I said, that's why the hot sauce alarm system, exists. Nobody's been able to explain to me, and all this fucking madness, all this bullshit, nobody's been able to explain to me, exactly how that system works. Nobody's been able to say, what the connection is as far as how the doors work. I've heard a lot of rhetoric. I've heard a lot of bullshit. I've heard a lot of people skirting around the fucking issue. A lot of people like to act like they have all the fucking answers. They know exactly what they're fucking talking about when they don't know shit. And, and that is kind of a fucking issue with me, and that's why a lot of people, I don't really trust their fucking opinions. But the, as far as that door's operation, what indicates the door is closed? Is it the tongue making some sort of connection within the door jamb there? Whatever you call the strike plate, whatever the fuck that thing's called. Is that the indication the door is closed? Is there something in there, some sort of sensor in there that says that the door is actually closed? What exactly is the function of that door, and how does that work? What indicates that door is actually closed? What indicates that it's actually open? Same thing. Now that would be a little bit easier of a solution, because you could say, well, when the handle's pushed down, it fucking monitor, it sends an alert to the system saying that the door, the handle was pushed down. Now, which side was the handle pushed down on? It's either from the inside or the outside. Outside just says the door is open. The inside says the door is open from the inside, so forth and so on. If that's the case, then, that throws this whole fucking thing into a loop, unless these guys open the door, pulled the door open, and then, flip the handle down. Like I said, this is just something that's always kind of been an issue for me personally, because nobody's ever been able to explain this. Now, I hear a lot of people saying, oh, well, when the door's closed, it says it's closed. Well, what the fuck does that even mean? I want specifics. I don't want fucking rhetoric. I don't want you saying, everything there is to know about Vegas or fucking doors or whatever the fuck the case happens to be, and then coming out with some fucking rhetoric about, well, they're just closed. It's magical, dude. It just fucking says it's closed because it knows it's closed. How does it know it's closed? It's magic, dude. It's just fucking magic. That's a stupid rationale behind things. So, that's part of the issue here. The hacking thing is interesting, because the hacking, well, I mean, as far as hacking goes, I mean, can these people hack the door to fool it into thinking that it was open from the inside? I don't fucking know. Not too sure about that. Yeah. Well, I mean, look, these guys could have, of course, they're smart. They'd be wearing gloves, which I'm sure they were smart because they pulled this off. and they don't know who the fuck they are right now. And you know, they probably do. I'm sure they have an idea, dude. They have cameras all over those casinos. They can tell who came in and out of that elevator. In fact, they have cameras in the elevators now, even if they took the fire escape and all that sort of bullshit. Yeah, they got cameras everywhere. They can tell everybody who's coming in and out of those areas, you know, day and night. So I'm sure that this is something that, you know, they should have solved by now. I mean, they really should have. You know, if you want to go into my conspiracy fucking head, I would say that Wynn is trying to hide the fact that it's possible their employees had something to fucking do with this, because, you know, people got into an area that's supposed to be secured, or maybe they're just hiding the fact that they fucked up and somehow somebody breached their shit. But you know, the interesting part of it, you know, they mentioned the locked interrogation report. They're looking at it for a crime even this small. You know, and you know, the door is open from the inside. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Yeah. I would think they probably have a pretty good idea exactly who this is. At least the Wynn Hotel security would. What was the fucking guy's name? Fasulo or whatever? Todd Fasulo. I'm sure he knows exactly who this is. But you know, they're not saying because, you know, who knows, liability reasons or some stupid shit. In some form or another. But like I said, interesting thing, man. You know, locked interrogation report, doors open from the inside. How these fucking guys get in? Yeah. Baby monitors, I guess, are kind of a standard for hotel security if you're going to secure your own fucking room. We saw that, you know, with Paddock. You know, that is the thing. That's not just something he just randomly came up with. The intent was right. Hacking doors is the thing, and you know, whether he was right about it being on Paddock's watch or not, you know, fucking who knows. But there's no evidence of that. But nevertheless, guy got something right, and you know, props to you for that. But yeah, that's about all I had to fucking share here. You know, I didn't expect this video, but saw this, thought this was interesting. I thought it was somewhat relevant, so I decided to share this with everybody. I don't know, this came up on my feed randomly. So, anyways, everybody, have a good night, man, and you know, thanks for tuning in to this bullshit. Stay safe out there. It's a crazy fucking world.